Hello there, this is your girl Nye, and this is a core of me. How are you doing? I'm doing great. I missed you guys. I'm sorry, I've been kind of mad busy, but we are going to be talking about something a little different today. If you are unaware, April is Autism Awareness Month, so I will be actually supporting an event for autism awareness, call to action. And I will actually be a panelist for this event as well, so I will go ahead and post the flyer on the screen so that you guys can take a look at that event. If you are in the Las Vegas area and you want to go ahead and check that out, please come out. It's really important for everyone who touches the life of children to be aware of autism and how to support families with autism. So if you are an educator, if you are a parent with a child with autism, or if you have autism yourself, or if you are a nurse or a youth leader or a youth pastor and you touch the life of children, it's really important for you guys to understand autism, because it does affect so many lives of children. So come to this event and I will be there and I will be a panelist, and I would love your support along with giving you the opportunity to gain that education. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and share with you my experience with autism. My pregnancy went perfectly fine. I stayed away from the foods that I was supposed to stay away from, and up until labor, he was 41 weeks when he was born. I actually had to be induced because nothing was really happening. So my labor had to be induced, and I was on Pitocin for 22 hours, and my son started to go into distress and had a bowel movement in the womb. Because he had a bowel movement in the womb, that was a sign that he was losing oxygen, so they had to go ahead and deliver him via cesarean, which is also called C-section. So after he was born, everything was fine. I breastfed him for an entire year. He was eating fine, growing fine. He would laugh and play with us. He started walking at 9 months. Perfectly normal child in my eyes, because he is my first child, so I don't really have anything to compare him with, but to me he was developing right on time. I did keep track of different milestones for different ages, and he was a little bit behind when it comes to communication and social skills, but it would seem like it was only a couple of months at first, and then the deficiency kind of grew over time. So when I really realized that there was something wrong, I didn't realize it myself, his teacher did. I did notice when he was a kid that he did not like, well, he still is a kid. When he was a baby, he didn't like a lot of loud noise. He would cry when I took him to church. And if we were around a lot of people that day, he literally had to be by himself in the dark with no sound for at least an hour, so that he can kind of like regroup or recharge. And I thought maybe he was just probably naturally a introvert, because I am an introvert. So when I am around a lot of people for a really long time, that I do need some time to myself to kind of recharge. So I thought maybe he took after me and he's just introverted. So that didn't really raise a red flag for me. But when I did take him to a preschool when he was 16 months, around 18 months, his teacher pulled me to the side and said, hey, you know, I've noticed that he's not responding to his name when we call him, and he doesn't call you mommy, he doesn't call your husband daddy, so maybe there's something there with his speech, or maybe he can't hear very well. So she advised us to get his hearing checked. He did pass the hearing test at the hospital when he was born, so we got took him to the pediatrician to get his hearing checked again. And then a few months after that, that's when it was like around the 4th of July time, and he has a really high sensitivity to light and sound, so all of the lights and the sound of the fireworks, you would have thought he was like a war vet with the lights and sound. So he would like cover his ears like this, and he was super sensitive and was anxious about things for a couple of days after the 4th of July. So we went to Chuck E. Cheese, and my friend who is a nurse was saying that maybe his ears are ringing because he does cover his ears when he's at loud places like Chuck E. Cheese. So I went and got his ears checked one more time. Excuse me. And his pediatrician was like, we already got his ears checked. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, just humor me just so I can rule it out as the mom that it's not his ears. So we got his hearing checked one more time, and it wasn't his ears. His ears are working perfectly fine. So I have worked with kids with autism before. So that was kind of like on my radar a little bit, and I started Googling some things, and then I wound up on the National Autism Association website that has a list of the different signs of autism. So I looked at that website and saw that a lot of the descriptions on there, a lot of the signs on there fit Legend's description. So he was displaying a lot of those signs. So because he was displaying a lot of those signs, then I printed out the list of those signs and highlighted the ones that pertain to him, and gave it to his pediatrician. So his pediatrician first gave me a referral to a speech pathologist. So he saw a speech pathologist. She did a couple of things with him and was able to get him to say more words. At this time, he was speaking, like he was verbal, but he wasn't using words for like social words. Like he learned like his alphabet, and he learned his shapes and his colors and numbers, like academic words he would say, but when it came to like people names or using pronouns, he wasn't doing that at all. He wasn't even using his own name or responding to his own name, but she was able to get him to say a few words. So she had us, she was like, he's a normal child. Here's a few exercises that you can do at home to kind of help him progress in his communication skills, and if that doesn't work, then come back. So we did do that. So we went home, we did these different exercises that she gave us, and that actually helped him improve. Like he really improved at that point, but even though he was learning new words and he was improving, he wasn't catching up to other kids his age. So right now he's 4 years old, but if you talk to him, he sounds like he's 2, which is not that bad right now, but we definitely want him to get to a place where he is right where with his peers. So now I went back to his pediatrician and say, hey, he's displaying other signs of autism. Can we get him assessed for autism? So we got him assessed, which the assessment process takes a really long time. Oh my gosh, it takes such a long time. So because it takes such a long time, it's like a waiting game, you know? And it took a couple of months to get him into the pediatrician to assess him, to do their small little assessment for autism. And then once they put the referral in for the neuropsychologist to assess him, it took a month before we were able to even schedule an appointment. And then when we were be able to schedule an appointment, they couldn't get him in for like 6 to 8 months. It was crazy. And then once that assessment was over, it took 2 months to even get the referrals in for the services for him. So he hasn't even started services yet, but this process of trying to get my child's services has been taking over a year. Yeah, it's been taking over a year, which is crazy. But what I'm grateful for is I do want him to have ABA therapy and speech therapy before he starts kindergarten, which we have a whole year before that happens. So that way I want to make sure that he's getting these services so that when he does start kindergarten, he'll be in a better place. So that's where we are right now. Again, please come and support the event. I will go ahead, there is a link in the description box, and I will talk to you guys later. Deuces. Please come support this event. It is April 21st at 10 a.m. I will put the address in the description box. Please come and support, and thank you so much, and have a great day.